Добрий ранок, шановні друзі.
Good morning, dear friends. After yesterday's Russian airstrike on maternity hospital number 2 in Mariupol, it became clear that the enemy has completely changed tactics and, being unable to defeat our armed forces and other defense forces, has switched to so-called Syrian scenario. That is, surrounding and terrorizing cities and towns in order to cause more suffering and have the maximum psychological impact on our civilian population. Now, the most suffering city is Mariupol, which has been demolished. I think that they do it to show it is an example, to say, look, do you want it to be like in Mariupol, Kharkiv, Okhtyrka, and now part of Mykolaiv are also being affected. But you have to understand, this is war. Now the numerous appeals can be heard, do something for Mariupol, Kharkiv, Okhtyrka, Mykolaiv. One thing must be understood. First of all, the military and political authorities of Ukraine know very well what is going on. Secondly, international organizations know what is going on. The governments of all countries in the world know. Every day there are attempts to establish humanitarian corridors. From many places today they will start working, including from Mariupol. But so far the enemy is disrupting the evacuation from Mariupol, doing it on purpose. Nevertheless, in Mariupol there are defenders of the armed forces of Ukraine and other defense forces who are holding the city's defense. I think we can make sure that citizens are evacuated from Mariupol. At least we will do everything for that. And the armed forces of Ukraine and other defense forces hold the city as they should by war. I think that the enemy will not be able to seize Mariupol. What he's doing now is terror. It is really another very big, black and bloody page in the world history of Russian war crimes. The authorities of Ukraine are aware of this situation and are dealing with it right now 24/7. We have to understand what many are doing now, blaming Ukrainian authorities and begging for rescue and help, is the enemy's goal. We understand that we need to talk about the problems, but we don't need to blame the authorities. War is a bilateral process. Not everything depends on one side. As for overall war situation, during yesterday's day and night, our armed forces conducted at least 7 heavy strikes against the enemy. 2 Russian army colonel commanders were destroyed. This happened in the direction of Brovary, in the direction of Izum, in the direction of Mykolaiv, in the direction of Nikopol and Kryvyi Rih, where the enemy, fulfilling their previous plan, which long ago should have been changed, but they are not capable of it, moved certain battalions of tactical groups which were destroyed on the march. Now our troops near Kharkiv have taken the village of Dergashi, and this cut off communication between the northern group of Russian forces near Kharkiv and those who are now in Izum. From military point of view, this is a serious tactical success. Our aviation, artillery, missile forces continue to strike the enemy. I think that the situation will change in favor of Ukraine on the battlefield in the nearest future. And as for the humanitarian situation in the surrounded cities, firstly, we are making huge efforts. Second, it will stop only when we physically destroy the enemy on the battlefield. That's what we are all working on right now. Stay tuned for our next post. Glory to Ukraine.